Hey guys, welcome back to my review of Litentry. Please watch part 1 before watching this one if you haven't. In part 1 I just explain a little bit about Litentry and what it does, and in this part 2 I just look at the token economics and token utility of Litentry. Litentry has a market cap of 180 million, a circulating supply of 18 million, and a total and max supply of 100 million. Most of this total and max supply comes from the staking rewards, and it has a yearly inflation of 10% from this staking. And basically my advice is, if you do decide to invest in Litentry, you should also look for staking those tokens, because 10% a year inflation can hurt you pretty badly. So we have a total supply of 100 million, and 15% of this goes to the team, 15% goes to the foundation, which will give some grants to debt developers and stuff like that. 18% was sold in the private sale, 12% in the public sale, and then we have another 50% that is for the staking rewards. So this 18 million is basically this 8% and 12% of the public and private sales. So we have another 30 million going to the team and foundation, and then another 50 million for staking. So we do have quite a bit of inflation going on here, and this 10% a year was just the staking. The part that goes to the team and gets unlocked over a period of time also hurts you pretty badly inflation wise. So it's definitely not the best token economics I have seen. I will give them a 4 for it, because I would give them a higher rating if they weren't already at 180 million market cap, because as I explained in part 1, I believe that this identity market is not the greatest to be in. I think it's not something that you can monetize that easily. So if a project already has 180 million market cap and only 18% of the tokens are already in circulation, this means that if you would calculate everything, we were already looking at a 1 billion market cap, and I just don't see something like Litentry going to 100 billion, for example. So we are pretty capped in our potentials. Token utility, what is the token used for? Validator fees, rewards for indexed identity databases, staking, and then deposit in DeFi platforms. I will give them a 6 for the token utility. It's nothing too special. It's definitely not bad either. There's enough token utility for it. However, again, as I explained in part 1 of the video, we will have to wait and see if their token utility really works and if people are really inclined to actually use their token, because I think a lot of identity issues can be solved without a token. So yeah, and again, there's nothing too exciting in their token utility. It's all pretty standard, I would say. Then the marketing, their website is litentry.com. It's a very basic website. It's definitely not the nicest I've seen in the space, and there are some spelling errors on their website as well. Now, I'm dyslexic myself, so I'm not one to judge on this, but probably the people working on Litentry don't have English as their first language. Again, I don't either, so I'm not one to judge on that. However, it looks a little bit unprofessional, and I'm sure my YouTube channel is pretty unprofessional as well, but I don't have a 180 million market cap, so I'm sort of allowed to be a little bit less professional than a crypto project as Litentry. They have 44,000 followers on their Twitter, 13,000 in their Telegram group, 1,300 on their Reddit. They don't have a YouTube, and they actually are on Binance. They were on the Binance Launchpad, so this is a very good thing. You already get a lot of potential volume for being on Binance, and also it's just a lot easier to gain access to Litentry and the Lit token. And we have decent coverage by YouTube creators. Nothing too special, but definitely more coverage than some projects I've looked into. I will give them a 7 for the marketing. It's actually their best part, I would say, even though I do think their website looks pretty unprofessional, and their white paper, it just all has kind of a bit too many mistakes for my liking. And also, yeah, I mean, they of course try to explain their project, and I have seen a lot better white papers and websites in general, just explaining their project a lot more convincingly. So looking at the price action, nothing too much has happened to the price of Litentry. It went from about $3 to about $13-14, and then it dropped a bit, and now it's at roughly $10. And one thing to notice, Litentry only has been on exchanges for about 2 months, so it is still very early days, and this, I would say, this is a good sign, and it's nice. We are still early, and we could be one of the early investors and actually make a lot of money. However, the problem is that it's still already a 100 million market cap, and that's only with 18% of the supply circulating. So I have a hard time believing that Litentry is gonna 100x anytime soon. And there are, especially if we are looking for projects that are this early phase, because the more early phase we are, also the more risk we have, basically, because a project hasn't proven itself. And with something like Litentry, I would be looking for a lot smaller market caps just to have higher potential returns. Litentry for me personally is a bit too big market cap wise already for what they have shown so far. So rating overview, the project, I gave them a 6, a 4 for the market, a 6 for the competition, a 4 for the token economics, and a 6 for the token utility, and then a 7 for the marketing, which would give Litentry a 5.5, which technically is an okay number, but I personally don't invest in anything lower than a 6. Of course, this rating system is far from perfect, and I don't take it that literal, but I so far haven't invested in anything lower than a 6, at least as a long-term play. I might buy Litentry as a trade or whatever, but not as a long-term hold. And I would personally not get into it just because of all the things I mentioned. I think the identity market is not big enough to make any insane gains, and I think Litentry already has a pretty decent market cap, and I don't see them 100xing or anything like that anytime soon. And also there is a lot of other players in the market, which is, in my opinion, already a small market, and there's players like Civic and others that compete with Litentry as well. And Litentry is definitely not the one that has shown the most yet, because it's such a new project. So I would personally stay away from Litentry, but please let me know in the comments what you think about Litentry. Are you invested in it, or are you gonna invest in it? And did I miss anything about Litentry in this review? Please let me know, and see you in the next one.